Nitro 125, the same night, February 2nd, 1998, from, of all places, the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas.
You know, if they hadn't gone to 3 hours, I'm not certain that the history of wrestling would not have changed significantly. Because now they're 3 hours every single week, and they're about to go head-to-head with Raw, and then they're going to start losing their ass. Because the show's 3 hours. It is a fact over the course of wrestling history that 3 hours is too long for a wrestling show. They fucked it all up by going 3 hours. They'd have killed these guys with the 2-hour Nitro.
Nitro opened with Psychosis versus Juventud Guerrera. We talked about going back and watching some guys and realizing they're better than you remembered. Juvi's the opposite.
Actually, he wasn't too bad in this match.
What? You thought so?
Well, compared to some of his previous performances,
this is not the worst Juventud Guerrera performance I've ever seen. But I watched this. It was 5 minutes long. He did 3 really cool moves, and the other 4.5 minutes he was terrible.
He had a leg scissors on Psychosis' neck, and it was on so light that Psychosis kept falling out of it, and he had to put it back on himself. I understand working light, and then this was completely different.
I timed it. It took them 2 seconds after making contact with each other to fuck something up. We had Psychosis doing the worst bear hug I've ever seen, and I didn't think it was possible to do the worst bear hug I'd ever seen. I thought they were all the same. I was wrong. Juvi hits a Rana, and he starts to celebrate, and Psychosis is on the mat frantically waving, "Cover me, you idiot." Eventually... we had Juvi doing... Psychosis did a dive from the top rope to the floor. Juvi drop-kicked him in midair. They both went splat on the mats. Don't do this. Juvi won with a 450.
I didn't even care about the match. All I cared about when it was over, Larry just buries Juvi for having Juvi juice on his trunks. Mm-hmm. It's like, the fuck are you there for? Like, it'd be one thing if Juvi was a heel and he had something obnoxious on his trunks, and as the babyface announcer, you're going to bury him. Juvi's a babyface, and Larry's there, and I'm pretty goddamn sure Larry's a babyface because he's feuding with Scott Hall. Just buries Juvi. Whatever, he says. Juvi juice.
Sometimes to get yourself over, you put people down.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you know about that, bro?
Give me a break.
Had a Hogan Sting video package.
I didn't put you down, I put your dog down. It's two totally different things.
Talk about putting my dog down, man.
Very poor choice of words, Brian. Hogan Sting video package in which they once again show the fast count. That wasn't a fast count. Yeah, DDP cutting a promo on Chris Benoit at Thunder.
Thunder?
Yeah.
Wow, you're in a mood tonight.
I'm in such a... I watched Raw right before this fucking show started. I'm furious. It's not your fault. I'm just pointing out that...
Feels like it.
Morons added an hour on Monday and then added a 2-hour show on Thursday. Do you know how hard it is to keep track of what's going on when in the middle of Nitro, they're just showing random Thunder clips, and they spent, like, God knows how long with DDP pushing a match that is on another show.
It's on Thunder. The point of this was Benoit is getting a title shot he deserves. Paige is giving it to him, and they're going to fight on Thunder. Giant video package.
This show is all filler now.
It is. And he said he had suffered a concussion and vertebrae damage, but they still did not know the severity of his neck injury. And they showed Nash powerbombing Ray Traylor and getting escorted out last week, and he was also fined, we were told, $150,000.
Yeah, keep that in mind.
Yeah. Yes, write that down. 150,000. Ultimo Dragon versus Billy Kidman.
This was good.
Yeah, I like this match.
Okay.
Dragon used...
I can bury it if you want, but...
the wackiest submission hold I have ever seen.
Right?
Where he laid on his own belly. He put Kidman's head between his legs. He grabbed Kidman's arms and tried, as far as I could tell, to pull Kidman's head into his ass.
It's like a reverse stump puller?
Let's talk about the best part of this. He's got him in this hold. They do a close-up of Kidman's head in his ass, and Kidman is grimacing.
I bet.
Well.
And they go to Tenay or Shivani, who goes, "Great shot." I swear to God, that's what happened.
You're right.
I'm not making this up.
Oh, God. So, Dragon finally, after a lot of interference from the Flock, Dragon hits a top rope Rana and the Dragon Sleeper for the win. Flock attacks. They lay him out. Kidman finishes him off with a shooting star press. Riggs randomly dumps Lodi out of the ring. No one knows why. It leads to nothing.
Because he's Lodi.
Even his own friends hate him?
Yeah.
And Raven's not with the flock, and later on we see him get his entrance all by himself. And now the flock is flown? I don't know.
I don't know. Kevin Nash came out and cut the best babyface promo I ever saw.
God, have you watched Raw?
No.
Yeah, there's
Well,
another
after
one.
Raw, it's going to be the second babyface, the best babyface promo you
Let
ever
me
saw.
guess. Rusev.
No, Hunter.
Oh, yeah. All right.
This fucking guy comes out. He's a top heel. And the first thing he does is astutely and correctly note that Kidman just used a Tiger Bomb, and he was neither fined nor arrested. Everybody cheers. He says, I don't give a shit if I get fined. I don't give a shit if I get arrested. I'll pay my fine. I'm rich. And if I don't pay it, Hogan's going to pay it for me. I do what I want, when I want, and I don't care what anybody has to say about it. Everybody cheers
It goes crazy for Stone Cold Kevin Nash.
because your goddamn top heel is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
And he leaves. I was like, what in the hell was this? Next thing you know, one of the heels is going to come out and do a survey,
You never know.
and everyone's going to cheer him.
Chris Jericho came out, cut a fake babyface promo that was supposed to be a fake babyface promo. Thanks the fans for their support, which is a quick recovery to Rey Mysterio Jr. This led to Chris Jericho versus Super Colo. Very scary match. By the way, do you realize Chris Jericho is almost as old today as Larry Zbyszko was here on Nitro when he was the living legend, and Jericho was just a main eventer?
Wow.
Yep, that's what happens.
Yes. So anyway. First of all, Jericho gets the heat when Colo tries a Rana and Jericho falls backward, drops him neck first across the ropes. This required perfect placement and timing by both men to get it right. We had Jericho getting up top, getting knocked off, doing a flip bump to the floor, and then Colo falling with a senton over the ropes to the floor, falling headfirst in the process. We have a double jump missile drop kick back in the ring, and finally Colo botches the head scissors off the top rope, and Jericho figures, okay, we have pushed our luck too far, let's just end this, and puts him in the Boston Crab and wins.
The Lion Tamer. I should add, by the way, that Jerichoholics debuted on this show. Mm-hmm. There was a Lion Tamer submission, or the Walls of Jericho, as they call it today. In the blink of an eye, this man became the modern Chris Jericho right here on this show. Because last week he wasn't using Jerichoholics. It debuted this week. Last week he had some, what did he say? He called him something wacky. He had some terrible name.
And he's now 3 or 4 weeks into his never, ever again catchphrase.
I'm going to find out what he said.
He's developing very quickly. Steve Regal versus Booker T. Regal was too fat for a singlet. Zbyszko pointed this out. And it was not just cosmetic. He was sweating buckets just a minute or two into the match.
Yeah, he's about to be fired for drug issues.
Well, yeah. He's had his demons.
But you know what? There's very few men in this business that could be so far gone that you're going to be fired in the mid-90s
For drugs.
from WCW for drugs.
Yes.
That's mind-blowing, number
Yeah.
one. But to be this good in that state,
That's fair.
that's also
It's not like-
astonishing.
It's not like it was a bad match. You can just tell he was not at peak form.
Okay, so last week on the show, Chris Jericho referred to his fans as Chris Jericho disciples. That
Yeah.
lasted 1 week. And somewhere in that week, he discovered Jerichoholics. The rest is history.
So Booker had a suplex, the spinneroonie, and the sidekick for the win.
You know, in just 2 more weeks, might even be next week. I can't exactly remember, but I was told
I think it's next week, but go ahead.
we get
Oh, no.
Goldberg and Regal.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yes.
cool with that.
Goldberg's not. They recapped Bret Hart's promo last week where he put Flair over and then said he wanted to be world champion.
Yeah, where the hell's Brett? Where the hell's Flair?
Don't know.
Where are these guys?
Well, they only have 3 hours.
3 hours and neither of them are on the show. They had the best match at the pay-per-view.
Hey, we got Dusty.
Great promos. And they're gone.
Conan versus Hugh Morris, they were on the show.
Battle of the Dungeon of Doom.
It was. They didn't mention
Conan
this.
and Hugh Morris.
It was fine.
Yeah, Conan was the babyface and got a big babyface pop.
Yeah.
He's a bad guy.
Well, the NWO is cool.
I don't know what to tell you.
I'm so over the 90s. This may be the last retro show. I've hit my limit.
So Morris went up top with a moonsault. Vincent knocked him down, and Conan won with a pedigree.
Yeah. A pedigree.
Yeah.
He didn't hook the arms, but it was a pedigree.
I guess that's true. It was I don't know what Ron Bass called the move, but that's how he did it too.
Yeah.
Scott Hall and Dusty Rhodes came out for a survey.
Oh, man. So he comes out for a survey. Everybody loves the guy. Then he says, I won the World War III Battle Royal. And every year, the winner of the World War III Battle Royal gets a title shot at Super Brawl. But goddammit, Roddy Piper came out here, and he says, I'm not getting a title shot. I want to know why, and I want to know who I should be mad at. And I thought, this fucking guy is goddamn right. Why is he not getting a championship match at Super Brawl?
I don't know.
He won the match. It's a stipulation, and this guy's getting fucked.
Yes.
Then Dusty, who is enormously fat, cuts a promo. Now think about this, by the way. This Dusty is 11 years removed from the Dusty we watch every Sunday night on those Crockett shows. Mm-hmm. He looked 30 years older on this show. Mm-hmm. He rambled on and on. Like, Scott goes, Dusty, who should I be mad at?
I have no idea what Dusty's point was.
Dude, he rambled on for 2 minutes, and when it was over, I don't even know what he said.
I forgot the question.
The question was, who should I be mad at?
Yeah.
We never got an answer. And then they left, and everybody cheered them. This era is killing me.
Scott Hall versus Jim Neidhart.
Oh, this turned my night around.
They spelled Jim Neidhart's name wrong in the graphics. So Luis Piccoli runs in and says, Scott Hall, you've been robbed of your title shot. You should not fight again until you get your match.
Good point.
I will fight for you in your place. And it was a distraction to let Hall jump Neidhart from behind.
Scott Hall takes his microphone and he waffles Neidhart in the back of the head and he knocks him down, presumably out cold. And Charles Robin says, rings a bell.
Oh, yes.
And the match starts.
Yes.
What a dick.
It makes no sense. So did either of you catch?
The gimmick thumb? Yes.
No,
please explain.
Before that, Scott Hall whips Neidhart into the corners. Mm-hmm. Neidhart takes the corners, but then dodges the charge. Hall goes crashing the turnbuckle, and Neidhart calls punches. And then he starts laying in punches. Was that necessary?
You don't need to call that
Wouldn't
spot.
you figure that if you start throwing punches, Hall will know what to do?
Gives a shit. Can we talk about the gimmick thumb?
So Neidhart
What was
pulls
the gimmick thumb? When the fuck in his whole career did Jim Neidhart have a gimmick thumb?
Well, here and there, January 1998 on Nitro.
May I add, he's a babyface.
Mm-hmm. Are you sure? I can't tell anymore.
Listen,
on this whole show,
he's a babyface because Hall's supposed to be a heel.
How do you know?
Neidhart gets like a fucking, I swear to God, the old magician magic thumb that you pull the goddamn scarf out of. He's got a taped up gimmick thumb that he puts on his thumb and he puts it on the guy's neck.
Yes.
And Hall's selling it.
Yeah.
It's the Asian spike.
Yes, the fake thumb-assisted Asiatic spike. Let's see. Dusty climbed the apron to distract Neidhart, and Hall put Neidhart away with a very scary outsider's edge. I shrieked in terror.
Let's talk about Dusty's interference. Dusty Rhodes, okay, so Neidhart puts on a gimmick thumb. He puts it on Hall's neck. Hall is going unconscious. Fuck only knows why. Dusty Rhodes jumps up on the apron and he wants a tag.
Yes.
In a singles match.
Yes.
Neidhart is distracted.
Yes.
Like, could you be any dumber?
No.
Then Hall picks him up and Hall goes for the edge. Neidhart wants to do anything on this earth except take this edge. He's looking behind him.
Don't blame him,
like,
actually.
goddamn, is there a ground there? Like, what are you looking at? Why are you looking? Looks around, takes the bump, it's horrible, pins the guy, and then they jump Neidhart, and Bulldog runs down to make the save.
Mm-hmm. Oakland brought Lex Luger out for a promo. He plugged his upcoming no DQ match against Randy Savage.
You know, I didn't mind Nitro, but as we review it, I'm just full of fury.
Yeah, we need to get you a drink.
My
It's not going to help.
only thought throughout the show was the show is too long and I can't wait for it to end. I didn't think any segments were particularly good or bad, although going back over them, I realized they were bad.
Did you notice Lex was wearing the Canadian tuxedo? Denim on denim.
Denim on denim, sleeveless of course,
Yeah.
with a fanny pack. We're still doing Nitro Party clips.
Yeah.
I thought last week was the payoff. We'd be done with these.
Hell
now.
no.
And what a payoff it was.
This party was so lame, Heenan buried it immediately thereafter. Bill Goldberg versus Mark Starr.
This was good.
Was I the only one that thought that this might be Mike Awesome for a second?
He had a mullet.
Oh, yeah.
Was Mark?
No, I looked it up. I had to.
It was Mike Adequate.
They
teased leg locks. Goldberg slammed him, speared him, jackhammered him, and it was awesome.
That all happened.
Minute 12.
Remember the end of WCW when they had a Mike Awesome, a Mike Modest, and above average Mike Sanders?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mikes of every quality.
This was below average Mark Starr.
Sure. Right. Davey Boy Smith versus Steve McMichael.
Dude.
Oh, my God. But you know what? It was fun.
It was so much better than last week.
That's really fun.
Davey Boy comes out. You recall he had a terrible match with Mongo last week. He came out this week in the proper mindset. He was loaded for bear. He knew he had a job to do and it was going to be a work. I have never seen a man put so much focus, effort, and intensity into a cactus clothesline, but god damn it, they both made it over the ropes.
Can you imagine they put these guys in the ring together and decided to do that spot? Let's do a clothesline over the top and we'll both tumble to the outside. Oh, you and Mongo? Great idea.
So they brawl up to the announce area. They both get counted out. And then Mongo takes the referee. And I've only seen... He threw I guess you call it a punch to the ref. I've only seen 3 people ever throw a punch like this. Mongo here, Sid in all of his matches, and Boris Karloff in Frankenstein. That is it.
Boris Karloff threw a punch in Frankenstein?
The way he waved his arm like this?
Yeah.
Like this?
I thought he had a boxing skit in that movie or something like that.
Isn't it funny how Davey Boy
No.
in WWE, he had that amazing match with Shawn Michaels at the One Night Only pay-per-view. He had that run with Owen, and him and Shawn and Austin had that amazing match. And I've never seen a guy have more awesome... Just shut up for a second, okay? I've never seen a guy have more awesome matches.
Bret Hart at SummerSlam?
And then he comes to WCW, and he's put with Mongo?
I was going to say, may I speak? We're comparing his match with Mongo to... We had Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart...
I understand.
Owen Hart...
But if you know you're getting that caliber an athlete on your roster and you put him in with Mongo immediately...
Well, you see, they're dumb, and I'm sure that they thought Davey was clearly carrying Bret.
I actually see
and
the
Shawn Michaels.
I see the point Craig is trying to make here.
Thank you.
Bulldog had a wide range of quality depending entirely of who he's working with.
Right.
He could work up to the level of the top guys and way, way down to the level of the bottom guys.
My whole point is, why are you surprised that WCW did something really stupid?
I was just pointing it out, Brian.
Bret Hart and Ric Flair just had the best match of the year, and they're gone. They have vanished off television. Honest to God, I remember this. I don't think we see them again for months. They were punished for doing the best interview segments and having the best matches. These fucking people have no idea what they're doing.
Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff came out for a promo.
This may have been the best thing on the show.
Oh, it's... In a way. He's putting over Nash. Nash is the true giant. He's always got my back. He has the green light to powerbomb anyone he wants. I'll pay the fines. Sometimes he said the fine was $1.5 million. Later he said the fine was $50,000.
He doesn't give a shit.
He wants Nick Patrick to be the ref for his rematch with Sting, and he was going to beat Sting at the pay-per-view.
Let me give Jericho some credit here. Last week, Jericho cut a promo, and he called his fans Chris Jericho disciples. He went back and he thought, that fucking sucks. I need something better. And he came up with Jerichoholics. This goddamn Hulk Hogan has been saying NWO-ites
Yes.
Yeah.
for at least a year. And he just keeps saying it.
Yes.
It's terrible. It is horrible. That is, honest to God, the best he could come up with. NWO-ites.
Yes. That is the best you come up with.
It's bad. You know what it is? It's bad. NWO-ites. Like, it doesn't roll off the tongue.
No, it doesn't.
No.
It doesn't remind you of anything else. There's no smoothness to it.
NW Owens?
NWO-ites.
Raven versus Disco Inferno.
Hey, this was good.
Yeah.
Raven cuts a promo and basically says, someone's getting DDT tonight.
Well, what he said was there was only one man that he's ever listened to in his life. And that man had 2 rules. Rule number 1, there are no rules.
Right.
But somehow there was a rule fucking number 2, which was everyone must feel the DDT. This doesn't make any sense, by the way.
No.
But anyway, I think they were teasing bringing in Jake the Snake Roberts,
Sounds that way.
who a year later on Heroes of Wrestling was running around drunk using his snake as a giant cock.
Yes.
Huh.
And may not have been the low point of the show. We should watch that again sometime.
No.
You know, we should, because I'd bet you anything,
It's not so bad.
it's not so bad anymore. The standards in wrestling have fallen to such depths that we probably watch it and say, that was fine.
So Raven and Disco had a fun match.
I mean, you really think in the last 19 years we haven't seen a match worse than the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov
I know we have.
versus the Bushwhackers? Guaranteed we have.
Charmel and Survivor General was worse.
Guaranteed. And probably a lot more than that.
What was the one we just watched from
Rebel
TNA?
and- Rebel and Shelley.
Yes, that was worse.
Guaranteed.
I guarantee you Iron Sheik never screamed, my vag.
Wasn't as hot, that's for sure.
That's fair. Anyway, Disco Inferno here, like half his moves were schoolboys. It's not working, dude. Give up. Finally, Raven won with, as predicted, a DDT. And the big spot they showed in the replay was Raven smiling as Disco kicked him.
So why in the world is Raven having problems with his flock? And it just came out of nowhere.
If we're going to start asking questions on WCW, I don't know what to tell you, dude.
The next match has the only angle right now and storyline that makes sense.
Listen, the next match was the best thing on either show
Absolutely.
all night long. It's a Steiners and Nash and Bagwell. Now listen, I am far from the biggest fan of Kevin Nash. Even Kevin Nash was awesome in this. Bagwell and Nash are working great together, and Scott, of course, refuses to tag his partner in again. So Nash finally goes for the power bomb. Rick hits the ring, lays him out with a lariat.
I must stop you. Nash goes to the power bomb. Biggest pop on the show.
Of course, he's a babyface. He's Steve Austin.
Gotten his move more over than anyone else's by not doing it and getting it banned. The man's not dumb.
So Nash tags Bagwell. Scott is right there. He has the opportunity to tag in his brother. And to their credit, the place is going crazy. Scott, tag him! They're screaming. They're begging for him to tag. He turns his back on his brother. He whips Bagwell in. And this giant, muscle-bound, he's got to have gained 30 pounds.
He's at least 280.
He leaps high into the air, and he does the prettiest Frankensteiner
Yes.
you've ever seen. Rey Mysterio is at home going, I ain't coming back, because I can never top that Frankensteiner. He hits it, he makes the cover, and he gets the pin. Now, the only problem with this, and it's not even really a problem, Rick and DiBiase are very, very mad that Scott didn't make the tag. Mm-hmm. And Scott's like, we won! Which is, in fact, a valid point.
Yeah.
What are you shitheads mad about? We won. You didn't have to do any work. You got paid to do nothing. I won the whole match for us. Like, what are you so mad about? So, the Steiners get in each other's face, and Rick is screaming at Scott, and Scott is screaming at Rick. And in the background, Kevin Nash moves so that you see him right between both men.
Yes.
And he starts
He's pounding his fist, cheering for a fight.
Yeah.
begging for them to hit each other. Yeah. This was awesome.
No, it's been so good. The storyline has been so good. It's been 4 weeks.
Both of them, actually.
Yeah, they've teased this dissension, and we still don't know why. We don't know what Scott's motivation is or why he's doing whatever. It works.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
And
Well, he's
Powerbomb
developed
stories.
some rage
I see.
along with his 30 pounds of mass.
Yeah.
That's the storyline, I guess.
Main event of Randy Savage versus Sting.
I hope you wrote down some of the stuff that Buffer said.
Only one quote. He described Randy Savage as, quote, the man who does it all at full blast ahead.
He's not wrong.
What does that mean?
I love when he
He doesn't have a break?
called Sting the enigmatic man of mystery
Something like that, yeah.
who recognizes no authority
That's right.
in the world. Buffer always has to add something like in the world.
Yeah.
Because I guess he feels if he says he recognizes no authority, like there may be confusion. So he has to add no authority in the world. And he also claimed that Sting weighed 252 pounds.
Wow.
Very skeptical of that weight.
So they were in the Alamo Dome, and yes, Sting did descend from the rafters. Way
40
way the hell up
stories
there.
he came down.
Took me a long time to come down. Comes down amidst the fans, makes his way to the ring. Savage tries to flee, Sting's running him down. Savage removes a turnbuckle pad, but nothing happens for a while. Sting begins his comeback by no-selling a pile driver. And he tries a stinger splash, hits the exposed buckle. Savage hits the big elbow. Savage makes a cover. The ref counts 1, the ref counts 2, and then Hogan is there to break up the pin for the DQ. Now, to his credit, Sting, who the company clearly is screwing left and right, took it upon himself to at least kick out before what would have been a 3 count as well. But my God, they tried to make it look like Sting got pinned here and Hogan had to save him.
Well, that was the whole idea because, first off, I think Sting kicked out because Savage hits the elbow, and then he sits there, and then he moves to the other side of Sting or whatever, and he's clearly stalling because they have to wait for Hulk Hogan to run down the aisle of the Alamo Dome.
Go back and listen to the Royal Rumble show when we talked about how long it took big guys to get down that ring.
We didn't mention on the show, but for the fat guys, they had a cart
Yeah, it was not clear on camera.
that drove them down that goddamn aisle. So Hulk Hogan, who's 40-something years old and doesn't move very well, he has to make it all the way down the aisle. I think he started running when Sting started descending from the rafters. So I think Sting knew, okay, I got to rely on this guy getting all the way down this aisle and jumping in and breaking it up. I'm fucking kicking out. Especially this fucker,
Yeah.
who's fucked him like 6 times.
Yes.
He's not laying down. So he kicks out. But the key is, the announcers did point out that Hulk Hogan was breaking it up because he wanted to be the guy that pinned Sting and not Savage. So that was the story, that Savage had Sting beaten,
Yeah.
but Hogan broke it up.
Yes.
Could they fuck this guy any worse?
It's amazing.
Like,
Has there been a segment where he has not been fucked since Starrcade?
I don't think so.
I think every week they find some new way to undercut him.
Everybody
Cut his legs out.
Everybody talks about the slow count or the fast count or whatever at Starrcade. Dude, it just kept going. It wasn't one show.
No.
It was one show after another. They cut this dude's legs off.
It was weeks upon weeks of sabotage. But he was getting paid. And I think that mattered to him a lot more. So, anyway, Luger runs out and attacks Savage. The NWO attacks and Sting clears the ring, and the show ends with Lex and Sting side by side.
Yeah, they're standing side by side, and Tony Schiavone is screaming, "Sting rules the ring." I'm like, I just saw him pinned, geek. These shows are so bad. And Nitro actually wasn't that bad.
No.
Raw was so bad that my lingering hatred for that show extended into the Nitro report. But Nitro was just a 3-hour show with a whole bunch of matches that didn't need to be 3 hours long and had like one good thing on the whole show. When does this get better? Can someone answer?
2000 maybe?
Oh,
2 years?
I was going to say 99, but I'm not 100% sure.
I have to sit through 104 more shows before it gets good. I ain't gonna last,
I
dude.
think so.
It's gotta get better. That's it, everybody.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed the show.
Yeah, it was awesome.
God damn. Hey, we got a pro wrestling tees store that's up right now.
Do we?
Yep. Just launched.
I suggested this about 6 months ago, and Brian scoffed at me.
Dude, I didn't set it up. I'm just promoting it. F4WOnline.com/shirts will take you right to it, I believe. And we have a Figure 4 shirt, an Observer shirt, a Dave Meltzer shirt, and a Granny shirt. And we will be adding... Vinny's looking right now. We don't have a Vinny shirt yet.
The granny shirt is pretty spectacular.
But Vinny, your biggest fan, has vowed that if we put the time and effort into creating a Vinny V shirt, he will buy one.
Well, there's one.
So, get a design ready, Vinny.
I'll see what I can do.
Craig, get a design ready.
Can't we just do one as a show?
A Brian and Vinny and Craig show shirt?
Yeah.
What would it be?
Have you seen those shirts that says like
Just angry faces?
John?
Yeah, those
and
Russian
Paul
nesting dolls.
Yeah!
Oh jeez.
But Craig's... Let me think of how this would work. You'd only have one head sticking out. Anyway.
What?
Check it out, everybody. Well, it'd be like Craig's lower body would be cut in half.
Sure.
So we'd have his lower body. You'd be in Craig's body,
I don't like this at all.
right? And you'd be cut off, and then I'd be in you.
Yeah,
With
you'd
my
be-
head sticking out.
You'd be in both of us, which is disturbing. Can we just take like the Ramones logo and put our names on it instead of... Anyway.
With that, everybody, we're out of here.
Night.
Talk to you again after a while.
Good night.